What if a single, invisible warship from the future slipped into 1588 with one cold mission: break the most powerful fleet on Earth? Picture the summer channel, 130 Spanish ships filling the horizon like a silver crescent, sails taut, trumpets sounding, men convinced they carry God's right hand. This armada isn't just wood and canvas, it's the culmination of empire and faith, a floating army sworn to conquer England. Confidence runs through every rope and dagger, pride steams from the decks, and yet, beneath that swagger, something fragile hums. An old world built on predictable rules, a world about to meet a technology it cannot even name. There's a hush that doesn't belong to the sea. No wind in the rigging, no gulls arguing over scraps. Just a heavy, waiting silence that sits on the water like a hand. The fog isn't ordinary fog. It hangs in slow curtains and smells faintly of metal, as if the air itself knows a secret. On the Spanish decks, men shift uneasily, eyes narrowing into the gray. Conversations die mid-sentence. A boy clutches a rope. An old sailor traces the horizon and finds nothing but mist. Whispers ripple through the fleet. Something is out there. They cannot see it yet, but whatever it is already watching them. In the hush of that strange, heavy fog, a gray phantom peeled out of the mist. No sails, no oars, just a low, shark-like silhouette of cold steel cutting the channel like a blade. It moved with a speed and smoothness no 16th century keel could know, slipping between masts and moonlight as if the rules of time were different there. For the men aboard the galleons, it was impossible. A ship that shouldn't exist. Too small to be a monster, too precise to be wind. It was a modern destroyer, a ghost from 400 years in the future, and its very presence turned certainty into dread. It wasn't here to slug it out. Its orders were surgical and cold. Conserve ammo, refuse boarding fights, and above all, never let them know what they're really facing. This destroyer was programmed to be invisible, to use distance and timing as weapons, to nick and unpick rather than smash. Sails and pride were the targets, not hulls, morale, not tonnage. Every shot counted. Every movement was meant to sow doubt. Masts gone for no reason, powder stores exploding while the sea stayed calm, until fear spread faster than any cannonade. Patient, precise, and merciless, it aimed to make conquest happen inside men's heads before the first gun ever truly landed. The first strike comes under a cloak of night.
Whisper quiet radar hums aboard the invisible ship, painting a flawless map of masts and lanterns from miles beyond any 16th century cannon. Below, Spain's sailors breathe easy, unaware. Then the destroyer moves like a shadow. No signal, no thunder, just a tiny surgical ping, and the sky above the Armada pantsers. The assault has begun, and they cannot see their enemy. Precision airburst shells explode above the Spanish ships, blooming like thunderclouds that never touch the water. They don't rip hulls, they shred sails and rigging with surgical lethality. Snap masts, strip decks of helmsmen and lookouts, and jam rudders with flying shrapnel. Ships are immobilized, not sunk. Giants suddenly anchored by invisible wounds, helpless against whatever hunts them in the fog. Panic erupts across the Spanish decks.
It feels like thunder without lightning, masts splintering for no reason, rigging snapping as if cut by knives. Sailors stumble and vanish between billowing canvas. Men topple over rails as if seized by invisible hands. Shouts choke into a raw animal noise. Trumpets and bells collide with screams. Officers bark orders that evaporate into the fog. Discipline frays by the minute. Guns roar blindly into the darkness, muzzle flashes swallowed by the black water, cannonballs thudding harmlessly away. Somewhere beyond sight, the unseen ship slides like a shadow, slipping into position for its next surgical strike. Dawn slices through the fog, but the light brings no comfort, only the shape of the damage and the echo of last night's violence. The Armada drifts like a wounded beast, sails shredded, rigging a tangle, decks littered with the fallen. Men move more slowly now, eyes hollow with shock, trading hesitant stories about a ship that should not exist. A nervous laugh here, a prayer there. Superstition spreads faster than rumors of strategy. Confidence, that old armor of empire, is cracking. Commanders bark orders that go unanswered. Fear has become the fleet's new captain, and they don't yet know the worst of what waits in the mist. The true terror is unleashed. From the destroyer's deck, a dragonfly of metal and glass rises into the morning fog. A helicopter, small and uncanny, its blades chopping the air into a steady, insectile roar. For the Spanish, this is not a machine. It is an apparition, a demonic monster that hovers above their masts and refuses the rules of battle. Men drop to their knees. Officers shout and fire, muskets coughing uselessly at a thing that barely seems to touch the wind. It circles, cool and clinical, a new kind of predator watching prey. In that suspended moment, fear hardens into something like hopelessness. The helicopter hovers just beyond musket range, a humming demon in a sky that should not hold such things. It spits guided rockets, perfect little knives, toward the Armada's supply barges. Powder kegs erupt in tidy, terrible blossoms of flame. Decks shudder, masts shiver. With their food, shot, and powder gone, the fleet loses more than stores. It loses the one thing an army cannot fight without: logistics. The die is cast. They fire into the sky, thunderous volleys, a deafening, desperate noise. But it's a futile gesture against a beast that moves a heartbeat too fast. Cannonballs carve crescents through the mist, and the helicopter simply dances around them. A dark, humming thing that slips between iron arcs, unharmed, laughing at their oldest weapons. It hangs, strikes, and then vanishes into the clouds as if it were never there, leaving decks smoking and men shaking. Wounds are counted, ropes hang in tatters, but worse is the look in the officers' eyes. The fleet is not just wounded, its courage has been taken away. Chaos grips the Armada like a sickness. Men freeze mid-task, then spill into panic. Gun crews fire into fog, while others drop to their knees, crossing themselves and whispering of devils. Rumors spread faster than signal flags. An unseen curse, a witch ship, a trial from God, until even hardened captains look pale and uncertain. Orders go out and die on the decks, flags twitching ignored. The careful geometry of formation dissolves into a jostle for safety. A chaplain paces, sermon trembling on his lips, calling it a test of faith. Officers argue, then fall silent, their authority corroded by fear. How do you fight a demon you cannot comprehend? The pride of the Armada snaps. Galleons peel out of line, prows pointing like spears. Sailors scream, trumpets blare, ropes strain, and cannons roar as hundreds of tons of oak surge together. It is raw, animal fury, a single coiled mass of wood and iron charging the fog. Their orders are simple: crush the ghost. They head straight into the unknown, convinced force can end what terror began. Calm, clinical, almost contemptuous, the destroyer watches the panic-born charge like a hunter watching a stampede. Crews move with machine precision. Systems whisper, targets lock, and a single cold command releases what's been kept for this hour. Hatches open, missiles spool and breathe, then launch.
sleek black torpedoes of steel and guidance.
They skim the glassy channel, low and fast, leaving white scars on the water as they race, inevitable and patient, straight for the Armada's beating heart. The missiles scream across the water with unerring accuracy, streaking like angry comets toward the bowed center of the Armada. They find the flagships first. Great timbers shudder, pennants vaporize, and then the sea answers with impossible fire. Hulls erupt in monstrous orange blooms. Splinters and men are thrown skyward as if a god had ripped the command from the fleet. Smoke and flames swallow the admiral's decks. The chain of command is cleaved in an instant. Where order stood a moment before, only chaos and ragged wreckage remain. The Armada's spine broken by a strike that leaves no one left to rally the lines. With their admirals gone and the crescent broken, the proud charge dissolved into ragged panic. Orders died with the flags. Men rowed and shouted without direction. Sailors who trained for conquest now clung to planks and prayers. The Armada's purpose evaporated. What had been a disciplined war machine unspooled into a scatter of crippled hulls and smoldering masts. Victory slipped away, not to shot or boarding, but to something quieter, something that hollowed courage itself, fear. The mission quietly, finally redefined itself. No longer to cross and conquer, but to survive. Each ship turned its keel toward home, defeated not by a navy, but by an idea. They return, tattered, shaken, half the men who left the channel and twice the stories. In Spanish harbors, sailors speak of an iron ghost that moved like a thought, a ship without wind that struck from the sky, and their words sound like prayer and accusation all at once. In England, fishermen and noblemen swap versions of the same impossible night, a thunder that had no storm, a metal shadow that saved them from ruin. Legends spread faster than wounds. People stitch the event into belief, into politics, into fear, and somewhere between truth and tale, a new myth takes hold. Then, as if someone flipped a page and erased a line, the destroyer slips back into the sea and sky. No fanfare, no claim, just a clean vanishing that leaves smoke and rumor in its wake. Survivors stagger home with stories of an iron ghost that sailed without wind and struck from clouds. English villagers tell of thunder with no storm. A myth is born to carry an impossible truth. And that's the thing that lingers. Maybe history is full of moments like this. Technologies mistaken for miracles, explanations cobbled from fear. And if so, how many of our oldest legends were simply people trying to name the unexplainable?